Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Windsor Wednesday Show. Thank you for taking time joining us for today's episode and for being part of the hashtag YouWinProud community. We have three incredibly special guests on today's show, so without further ado, let's meet our panelists. Our first guest is Jeremie Bornais. Jeremie is a third-year computer science student at the University of Windsor and is the president of the University of Windsor Computer Science Society. He works as a research assistant for the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry through the Outstanding Scholars Program and is a teaching assistant for the School of Computer Science. Jeremie is also one of the co-founders of the WinHacks and BorderHacks hackathons, which is an annual tech challenge focusing on automobility, healthcare, cybersecurity, and entrepreneurship. Welcome, Jeremie. Our second guest is Linden Crain. Linden is a fourth-year honors business administration student specializing in marketing and minoring in political science. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Linden founded Coffee with Crainer, a live show focused on providing emerging leaders with advice from successful industry professionals, along with the University of Windsor's Windsor Wednesday Show. Aside from his regular interviews, Linden enjoys actively volunteering for various boards in Amherstburg, currently serving as director on both the Amherstburg Chamber of Commerce and Amherstburg Community Foundation. Welcome, Linden. Our third guest is Jennifer Costea. Jennifer is a third-year business student at the Odette School of Business, specializing in marketing. She is the co-president of Enactus Windsor this year and has been on Enactus since her first year. She has been involved in all of the group's current projects, such as Youth Thrive, City Thrive, and the Liberty Project. Jennifer is also an active member of Enactus Windsor's presentations team, having competed at both the regional and national level. Welcome to all of our guests, and thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to start our first Q&A with Jeremie, and I just wanted to know what made you want to study computer science at the University of Windsor?
Yeah, so thank you again for having me on the show. It's great to be here. I think with this one, it kind of boils down to two questions, right? And it's why computer science and then why U Windsor? And, to start off with the first, why computer science? I think it all really comes down to that first class in high school where I learned how to code. I learned about the theory behind it and really just making things like a copy of Flappy Bird or Microsoft Paint. I really enjoyed building things with computers. And then even, more on top of that, what I really enjoyed is seeing, people use and appreciate the things that I make. So I think right there from the get-go, just building things with computers, it really was something that I enjoyed. And then, to go even further, I was able to participate in things like FIRST Robotics at my high school and a few programming competitions at the University of Windsor. And that really just cemented my interest in computer science at the time. So really, after falling in love with, the technical and creative aspects of computer science, actually going ahead and studying it at university was just a natural consequence of that. And now for why U Windsor specifically, I think it really comes down to one word that, I found throughout my whole time at U Windsor, and that's opportunity. So from the get-go, U Windsor has really provided an abundance of opportunities to myself and other students that I know. The fact that in my first year, I was able to participate in undergraduate research, I was able to be an executive on a student society, and I was able to co-found two hackathons. I can't imagine anywhere else where a first-year student would be able to accomplish all that. And then even further on, as you get into your second year and third year and such, there are so many opportunities to actually get real work experience while you're studying. So whether that's through cooperative education or through research with the Outstanding Scholars Program, or just being a teaching assistant, U Windsor, honestly, it was a really easy choice, plenty of opportunity.
Wow, that's incredible. And you mentioned your hackathons, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on in today's episode. But You're also the president of the Computer Science Society, and I just want to know what kinds of initiatives you now offer for students.
Yeah, we offer plenty of initiatives. The biggest one to date is our Discord server, which actually has, I believe, over 1,300 or 1,400 computer science students and alumni. So
Wow.
there we have things like help with academics, we have helps with careers, and we also have help with like technical things. So if you're building a project, we have people on staff that'll help you out with that. But yeah, we really try to make the whole computer science experience at Windsor as seamless and as pleasurable as we can.
And just finally, if a student's interested in getting onto the society, how can they do so?
Ways where you can get involved even not as a board member. So we have a GitHub page where you can contribute to things like our website and our student guide. But if you want to have an actual board member position, keep a look at your inbox in about, I would say, March, and we'll have our elections then.
Okay, awesome. Well, there you have it. Anyone who's interested in being part of the society, you can get in contact with Jeremie. So speaking about initiatives, I want to move on to Linden. So being a fourth-year business student yourself, as well as both the director of the Amherstburg Chamber of Commerce and Community Foundation, I just want to know, how do you think we can get young people to sit at the table in conversations that make a difference in our communities?
Thank you, Susie. Pleasure to be here on the show. I think it can be hard at a young age to go into an organization or some type of employment and let them know that you're interested in joining their team just because of age, and usually with age people associate experience. But I would recommend to students they don't look at it like that, and they really don't let their age limit define them. For both the Amherstburg Chamber of Commerce and the Community Foundation, those were opportunities that I sought out by myself. And when I was approached by those organizations and went into an interview process, I made sure to let them know that a youth perspective will be valuable to their organization. And I think for any job or organization a student's applying for, is that they really emphasize on that, because it does bring a unique point of view and advice that you can bring to the table. There's a lot of benefits from being young to any organization. And then I would also just recommend to students that they focus on opportunities both on campus and off campus. There's a lot of great community organizations in our region or anywhere else that you're able to get involved with in your community and have some direct impact. So again, your age really doesn't define you. You can offer such a unique perspective to an organization, and then look for opportunities outside of school as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And similarly to what I asked for Jeremie, how can you get involved with the foundations that you're part of now, or the Chamber of Commerce? Is there a way to contact those groups or contact yourself to get involved?
Yes, I think if you're an Amherstburg resident and you're watching, please send me a message. But for any other organization off campus that you're looking to get involved for, I'd recommend volunteering to start. Just making sure that you let the organization know who you are and offer your support for free. And then once they have a feeling of you, then you're able to approach them and ask if you can have a seat at the table.
Absolutely. No, I really love that. And we're going to move on to Jennifer. Just like Linden, you yourself, you are also a business student, but you specialize in marketing. I just want to know, what made you want to study that out of all the specializations offered at Odette?
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about my experience and Enactus as well. I would say I've always been a really creative person, and I've also been someone who's really drawn to leadership roles and collaborating with others. And I'm also very curious, and business is something that expands on a huge, wide range of opportunities and different skills to learn about things and learn about the world and the way that it works. And I've always been really interested in, the information about different markets and industries and how financial health affects all of our different economies. And so business really answers all of those questions in a lot of different ways. And with specifically marketing, I feel like it really fits my interest in allowing me to network and meet other people, collaborate with teams, and really be creative in ideation, promotions and advertisements. It's really fun, and it's an opportunity to take an idea and actually implement it and expand it across, whether it be a community or the world as a whole. So it's super exciting. And I think I would really recommend business and specifically marketing to anyone who's curious and more specifically really motivated to make an actual difference in their own community and in their own way.
Absolutely. And have there been maybe, or has there been a specific class or highlight during your time so far at Odette?
Ooh, I mean, I could name a few. I would say in terms of marketing, the intro to marketing is awesome, and any classes that you can really take that are kind of like special offers for marketing. I'm taking one, research methods in marketing, right now. That's a super awesome class just because you basically get to not only ideate and create different marketing promotional materials, but you're also working on how do we actually do the proper research to find out like what's the best way to implement this? How can we actually get creative in a way that's going to be effective in the industry that we're looking to work with? So those are awesome. And then just an awesome class at Odette that I think a lot of business students take is organizational behavior. And that's great because it has an actual component where you're using an initiative to whether you're volunteering or coming up with a fundraiser or a charity event, basically to give back to the community. And that allows you to be super creative while actually making a difference in the community.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. I've also taken that class as well, and Odette has so many incredible opportunities for their students, and I'm glad to see there's 3 of us here just in one chat that can speak to that as well. So we're gonna move back to Jeremie now for a second round of Q&A. But just before I ask him his question, I just want to let our audience know that if you have any questions for our guests, you can feel free to leave a question in the comments, and we'll try to reach it as well. So moving back to Jeremie, we were talking a little bit about WinHacks and Border Hackathons. How do these annual tech-related challenges challenge amateur and professional coders?
Yeah, absolutely. And they really do. They challenge both the amateur and professionals. But, maybe to give a bit of context for people who aren't familiar with WinHacks, BorderHacks, and just hackathons in general, hackathons are basically events that you typically hold on a weekend over like 24, 48 hours, where students have an opportunity to get together in groups or individually and take a look at a series of challenges and things to pick from where you actually develop a product for a specific purpose. So you might build a mobile app or a website, things like that. People hear the term hackathon and they think, you're talking about hacking into a computer or a website or something, but the actual hack is, building a project, building a website or a mobile app. So that's really what hackathons are about. But what really makes these events great is the fact that it gives students the opportunity to showcase their technical skills, as well as develop them and learn more while working on a team. So because you have the opportunity to work on a team, whether you're a professional coder or you're an amateur, maybe you haven't even touched a line of code in your life, you still have the opportunity to participate and use your own skills to kind of solve some of these challenges. And honestly, many hackathon attendees that I've seen, they have little or no coding experience and they approach it in a different way, or they play a different role on their team. So I've had, business students, I've had engineering students, I've had math students attend these hackathons. And the ways they help often is whether it be graphic design or video editing or project management. Like I said, whether you're a professional, whether you're an amateur, whether you don't even know how to code at all, there really is a place for you. And even more than that, even if you're working alone, there are actually specific challenges tailored for these people that, maybe aren't as technically gifted or maybe a little earlier on in their technical career. So we have best UI/UX. So if you're into design, that one would be good for you. We have best domain name, which is just you need to come up with a name for a website. And so that, of course, that one you don't need any experience. But then, we have other ones like best unfinished hack. So if you, start a project and you don't necessarily finish it, we really want to encourage these students to try something new and learn it. So even if you don't finish your hack, there's still an opportunity to win some money there. So really, no matter where you are in your technical journey, whether you know how to code, you don't know how to code, or whether you've been coding your whole life, I encourage anyone who has an interest in solving unique problems or coding or whatever to give hackathons a shot, and you may even win some money or find yourself a job.
That's awesome, and I think a lot of our viewers will be interested in joining one. And when are you planning on holding your next hackathon?
So usually we have BorderHacks in September, so that already passed. But WinHacks, we're planning to have it this upcoming March. So stay tuned for that.
All right, and stay tuned, everyone. So you can obviously contact Jeremie if you have any questions regarding that. So that's really exciting. Thank you so much. And we're going to move back to Linden now. And this was one question that I was very, very excited to ask you, Linden, because you were the one who actually created the Windsor Wednesday Show, but you also have your own show, Coffee with Crainer, which you both created during the pandemic. I want to know what inspired you to create these live shows.
Thanks for the question, Susie. Yes, so I can't remember if it was the Windsor Wednesday Show or the Coffee with Crainer that happened first or last, but when the entire campus shut down on a Friday and we went digital on the Monday, it was hard because I enjoy volunteering at University of Windsor events, and there's always the You Win Proud campaign that has been launched in person. We have a variety of events there, so I figured why not have it on a platform and invite some guests and talk about why they're Windsor proud. And that's how it started. And it really, I think the root of it was from Mike Fisher, who is head of IT at the University of Windsor. He's very passionate about the school and always posts why he's You Win Proud. I think he tagged me one time, and that idea just sparked. And then he was one of my first guests. And from there, Sarah Hebert, who's behind the scenes right now, reached out to me and said, do you want to host this show instead of on your personal page, on the University of Windsor page? And that's how Windsor Wednesday Show started. For Coffee with Crainer, I enjoy going to networking events and leadership conferences, and I'm involved with the Georgia Odette Leadership Symposium, which invites about 400 students to learn from industry professionals at Odette. And that was canceled, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to volunteer, and figured why not turn somewhat of a similar platform, but digital, online, and invite some local guests to talk about their advice and stories, best practices for young leaders. So that's really how both of those shows started.
Yeah, and now how does it feel to be on the other side of the interview during today's episode, especially not being the one who interviews but the guest?
It's an amazing feeling. I didn't think that from last April to now that the show would have went that well. And I think I interviewed 120 guests last year, and
wow.
I didn't think it would blow up that well. And it's an awesome feeling, and the most rewarding feeling is seeing that it's turned into a part-time job for a student at the University of Windsor. So you, Susie, like it's an awesome feeling knowing that you're now being employed through the show, and that the show is continuing, and that's something that Sarah and the Office of Student Experience and I started has really is being able to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can thank you, Linden and Sarah, for this awesome opportunity. And I'm sure all of our guests who have watched the show in the past and now can see how the show's really flourished since then. And all the guests that we've had on, whether it's alumni, students, faculty, or staff, I think Linden and I can both agree that we've had really such a broad scope of different people from all walks of life, which has just been amazing. And hopefully in the future, the next student that comes on can continue this awesome initiative. So thank you, Linden. And we're going to move on now back to Jennifer with our final question. I read in your bio that you're part of Enactus, Windsor, and I know it's a big initiative on campus. I just want to know what kinds of things you provide on campus or the community with Enactus?
For sure. So basically, to first understand the type of initiatives we do, you might want to understand a little bit more about what Enactus Windsor actually is as a whole. So what it is it's a student-led organization, and we focus on the use of social entrepreneurship in order to create new project ideas. So we have a team of over 100 students right now on Enactus Windsor. They're from all different faculties around campus, and we all work together and we use our own skills and we help learn from each other in order to create these initiatives that are meant to better our community in Windsor, Essex, but beyond as well. So we're constantly in the process of creating and implementing new projects into the community. We're currently in the process of ideating and implementing some new projects that combat food scarcity in Windsor, mental health and well-being in adults in Windsor, and then environmental sustainability. So more specifically, the removal of plastics from packaging. So those are some cool initiatives that are kind of on the come up for Enactus, but we also have some really successful current projects that have been running in our community for, I would say, over a decade for most of them, or coming up to a decade, which is awesome. The first one that I'll mention is the You Thrive project. So, you know, some people from Odette, if anyone's watching, may have actually been involved in You Thrive, because that's a really big project on our campus. It's a mentorship program. So the University of Windsor students actually teach high school and grade school students how to start their own businesses. They learn a lot about financial literacy, entrepreneurship, environmental sustainability, a lot of the core values of Enactus Windsor. And then we also have a project called City Thrive, which is super similar to You Thrive, but it's more in the direction for adults in the community. So adults are basically given the opportunity to improve current business ideas that they might have, or actually pursue a career in entrepreneurship. And we have students from the University of Windsor who advise them in doing so and teach them some skills that way. And then the final initiative that I'll mention today is our Liberty Project. This is a really, really cool full circle project that we work on at Enactus Windsor. It's an opportunity that provides women who have been victims of human trafficking, sexual abuse, drug abuse, domestic violence with a second chance and an opportunity for transitional employment. So we employ these women and we have them work on creating reusable menstrual pads that are actually sent to women in developing countries. So it's an amazing opportunity for everyone who gets involved. It's a really great way to give back. And like I said, it goes very full circle. It's something that we love to do here at Enactus Windsor. And we honestly love working on all our projects and coming up with new ideas. It's almost similar to the hackathon and Windsor Hacks like Jeremie was talking about, simply because of the fact that, you know, we're always coming up with new initiatives and way to combat different problems. But the last thing I'll say is, if you are interested in getting involved in Enactus, or you just want to learn a little bit more, we have a lot of information on our social media. I would encourage anyone to visit our Instagram page. It is at Enactus_Windsor.
Awesome. There you go, everyone. And Jennifer, just one last thing. Do you have to be a business student to be able to be part of Enactus, or is it open to everyone?
It is open to everyone. That's definitely a question that we get a lot of the time. Actually, right now on Enactus, we obviously have students from the Odette School of Business, but more so we have a lot of engineering students right now, you know, business and computer science, and then also a lot of science students. So people in like bio, chem, things like that, and psych as well. So I could go on, but it's open up to all students. And we really, really, you know, encourage people who may not be business students to come help and work with us, because we're always looking for new skills and expertise in different areas.
Awesome. Okay, so there you go, everyone. If you're looking for any more information about any of the initiatives that any of our three guests have talked about today, I'm sure you can contact them directly at their UWindsor emails, or even search online for those initiatives as well. So thank you to Jennifer, Jeremie, and Linden for being on today's episode. And thank you for all of our wonderful viewers that have watched on Facebook and on YouTube as well today. So as always, you can find those full-length episodes on either of those social media channels. And if you enjoyed today's episode and are interested in being a guest, You can email myself or the student experience email. Thank you again to our wonderful guests, and we'll see you all right here next week on the Windsor Wednesday Show. Thank you, everyone.